To me and my beautiful Murano dragon now. So, you know, right now we are in the lead in terms of the, I don't know, the care race, I guess you could call it. We've got 1,000 million. The other two guys have 300 million between.
Light up movie night with over 8,000 free titles. Go crazy with free movies and TV on Vudu.
Need a car even though your credit is perfect. This is drive time. There's 99% of people
All right, tighty, it is 3 a.m. and you know what that means. Perfect. Consistent. Like if you don't, we are trying to breed the.
The reason I bought
the second breeding den wasn't just for the.
I can get the bank rate soon with the other. I just need to get 3 legendaries. I'm going to 3 beast first. Oh yeah. That actually.
go, and fans no one runs motion controls anymore, other than a little bit of tilting of the controls. Number 3 is long, non-skippable cutscenes. Pokemon characters, please shut the hell up. Almost any video game out there with long cutscenes allows you to skip anything or make a deal. A lot of Pokemon games do not let you do this, and oh my god, it kills their replayability. I have played through Pokemon Sun and Moon 3 times. On the second and third trips, I was either sitting there just waiting for the cutscene to end or mashing in like crazy to get through the freaking saxophone. It was so nice to serve up a piping hot plate of justice right into their face for being just such a freaking fool. Without a right dessert, just friendly. I guess it's fine.
In this video, we're going to have to take a that in this video we're going to have to take a few hypothetical liberties, particularly in the instance of Mr. Jormungandr, and the fictional implications of his stature vary from mythological text to modern day video game depiction, and it's safe to say that there's a lot of serpent to cram into a relatively small planet. It goes without saying really, but to face off two of the largest creatures in fiction is going to take a little bit of mental gymnastics. Before we kick off this torrent of torment though, it's probably best that we first take a quick look at these two aquatic leviathans and pick out just exactly what they've got stashed in their serpentine skill set. Now, if you haven't seen any of our recent SCP-3000 videos, then now would be high time to saunter over to our playlist and check them out, because it's safe to say that we're pretty well versed in the inner workings of the serpent's coil. For those of you that don't know though, SCP-3000 is a giant anomalous eel residing deep in the depths of the Bay of Bengal, currently under remote containment by the SCP Foundation. Now, we won't bog you down with its inner workings, but there are several important things that you'll need to know about SCP-3000. One, it's an anomalous moray eel. Two, it's absolutely massive, as in gigantic, believed to measure anywhere between 600 and 900 kilometers. And three, it loves eating people, and it produces a highly potent psychoactive eel jelly on the surface of its skin that shatters the minds of humans and lesser mentally astute sea creatures alike. It's a simple formula, but it's an important one to remember. Instead though, let's take a look at the contender in the northern corner, our boy the Midgard serpent Jormungandr. And let's not beat about the bush, because let's face it, SCP-3000 has got one hell of a scrap on its hands. Wait, no. Do eels have hands? No. Now, to figure out its size, we can take a look at its first direct reference, Norse mythology, where it becomes a pretty easy equation. The world serpent equals a serpent that can span the width of the planet. And that's really, really big, already infinitely bigger than SCP-3000. In the Prose Edda written by Snorri Sturluson, Jormungandr was one of the Jotun, a race of giant mythical creatures in antithesis to the gods. He was the middle child of the trickster god Loki and the giantess Angrboda, alongside their other children, the wolf Fenrir and Hel, queen of the damned. Now, it's safe to say that the Allfather Odin didn't much like Loki's strange new children, and so kicked them out of Asgard, tossing Jormungandr into the great ocean that encircled Midgard, where he quickly became a very hefty boy and grew so large that he could grasp his own tail. The thing is though, in this hypothetical showdown, for Jormungandr to even show up to the battle, it can only mean one thing. Yeah, you guessed it guys, it's Ragnarok. Nah, I'm just kidding guys, because the mechanical implications of Jormungandr would be too damn overpowered under the effects of the Norse apocalypse, mainly being that during Ragnarok, the world serpent is prophesied to emerge out of the ocean, poisoning the sea and the skies with its highly potent venom, which is a secretion powerful enough to kill even the thunder god himself, Thor. If Jormungandr possesses a poison that could kill one of the most powerful Aesir ever known, and subsequently polluted the entire seven seas with it, it's safe to say that SCP-3000 wouldn't even stand a chance, and the Bay of Bengal would quickly become its watery grave before it had a chance to show down against the serpent. But that's no fun, is it? You guys came for a battle of mammoth proportions, so let's face them off physically, which really is going to be a whole feat of its own, actually. Under the serpent's recorded stature in Norse mythology, Jormungandr would be so damn huge that it could easily swallow the anomalous eel. After all, 900 kilometers is nothing compared to the diameter of the planet, which is 12,742 kilometers. Yeah, mathematically speaking, this showdown is pretty cut and shut. Now, there is one trick of SCP-3000's sleeve, though. Wait, do eels have sleeves? No. Because we're not taking into account that highly potent eel jelly that became the ruin of the Kraken in our previous battle. If Jormungandr swallowed SCP-3000 whole, slipped down its throat like a giant spaghetti noodle, there's a good chance that the Midgard serpent is about to trip some serious balls after not knowing that the noodle is in fact covered with the most potent amnestic substance known to mankind. In that case, there's a small chance that this showdown would be more akin to the Game of Thrones depiction of the Viper over in Martell versus the Mountain, Gregor Clegane, and despite the Midgard serpent seemingly chowing down on SCP-3000 with ease, the effects of his eel jelly would eventually melt Jormungandr's mind, probably forcing it to eat itself itself all over again, explode its own head, or some equally gruesome outcome. However, I do say a small chance, because we also have to take into account the fact that Jormungandr is absolutely huge, and mathematically speaking, its infinitely vast proportions would likely negate SCP-3000's amnestic effects. If anything, there's a good chance that chowing down on this anomalous eel would be the equivalent of Jormungandr having a particularly pleasant pint of ale, giving him that familiar, warm, fuzzy feeling that surely even sea serpents know and love. Let's just hope he doesn't get a taste for it, because I, for one, wouldn't be the one to cut him off. The fact of the matter is, despite SCP-3000's highly capable abilities against equally sized sea creatures, Jormungandr is just too massive for this to ever be a fair fight. SCP-3000's only hope would be if Thor got to him first, and I'm not entirely sure what terms the Foundation are currently on with the AC. Oh crap, I've done it again. I've said too much. On that note, you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied flowing voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching life's biggest questions, and until next time, you take it easy. What's your biggest fear? For some people, the thought of a small house spider minding its own business in the corner of the bathroom, eating pesky flies and generally being a good dude, is so massively fear-inducing that they'd rather call the fire department to kill it with an axe than have to face it themselves. Also, please don't do that ever. That was just a hyperbolic joke. For me, anyway, mannequins in particular hold a strange fear deep within my primate brain. The fear of the uncanny, a thing that appears to be human, but in fact is far, far from it. It's strange that our brain is hardwired in such a particular way that even the most bizarre objects or entities can produce this mind-numbing fear. But, well, I've got one that will terrify you all. Let me introduce you to SCP-303, and you'll never look at a doorway the same. Hello Internet, and welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch, as today we figure out what you're all made of and curiously ask the question, what if SCP-303 was real? Roll the clip. Now, I'm not in the nature of making you dear listeners completely paralysed by fear the next time you try and step through a mysteriously dark doorway, but I'm afraid it may be innately transient over the next 7 or so minutes. Besides, it's a fear that already exists in us all anyway, although you may have not yet realised it. Have you ever been walking through an empty corridor late in the evening and you're about to step through the next set of doors, but suddenly you get a strange and abrupt feeling instantly as you step through the threshold? What if there's somebody waiting up ahead, hidden in the door's blind spot? What if someone is just waiting to peek their head through the small porthole? What if something is through there, waiting in the shadows? Wow, what if that someone was actually an anomalous entity, an apex predator of fear, whose sole purpose was to make sure you never step through his door ever again? Or her door. It's kind of complicated. I'll explain momentarily. As the record states, SCP-303 is an Euclid-class anomalous entity, which witnesses describe as a nude, sexless, emaciated humanoid figure with reddish-brown skin. Instead of normal facial features, its head is entirely made up of an extremely large mouth, which bears a set of oversized human teeth. It's not quite right, is it? Not only that though, but SCP-303 continually vocalizes a wheezing noise, loud enough to be heard from the other side of most solid doors, like an even more nightmarish version of Muriel Finster. Ew. All individuals who have had an encounter with SCP-303 are completely capable of describing it in full, including individuals who have not physically seen any part of it. Weird. Alright, so there's some weird little guy with a huge mouth. What's the big deal? Well, this guy also goes by the nickname The Doorman. And no, he's not a doorman. Doorman. Oh, that was a niche reference. Sorry. 10 points whoever gets that one. But let's not get sidetracked, because SCP-303 will periodically materialise behind any closed door, hatch, or other entryway barrier that is opposite a sentient observer. These portals are seemingly chosen by some unknown means, and no discernible pattern has yet been made. SCP-303 would then remain behind the door for an indeterminate amount of time, and any individual attempting to open the door or barrier experiences an intense, paralysing fear that lasts until SCP SCP-303 dissipates, either on its own or to avoid being seen directly by another observer. The source of this intense, paralysing fear isn't exactly clear on a psychological level, but it appears to be similar in nature to arachnophobia and ophidiophobia, aka spiders and snakes, and originates on some pre-conscious ancient genetic level, as in we were built to maintain and somehow react to this level of fear in our human brains, although it isn't exactly clear why. Strangely enough though, an analysis has also indicated that SCP-303 is not in fact purposefully inducing fear in the affected individuals. It just kind of is terrifying by proxy, although perhaps doesn't necessarily mean to be. Poor guy. Maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't want to risk it, really. Let's not give 303 the benefit of the doubt just yet, because here's the most terrifying part. SCP-303 doesn't allow itself to come into direct visual contact with any observer, and has never allowed any one individual to view more than 10% of its given form. When the door or other entryway barrier is partially or completely transparent, 303 will materialise in an orientation that leaves 10% or less of its body visible, or cause effects of fog or frost on the transparent surface to achieve the same effect. Which is, I don't know about you, but the literal personification of fear of the unknown. What the hell is this thing? I don't want to go through that door. Several tests that the Foundation have undertaken have even detailed D-Class personnel who are willing to straight up murder their cellmates than go through the same door that SCP-303 has affected. There aren't many more options left, really. Doors are quickly becoming a huge problem in this hypothetical scenario. And that would appear to be the simple solution, right? If SCP-303 was real, we should just shift our infrastructure and construction industry to not include doors. But do you realise how ridiculous that would be? Do you realise how important doors are? We can't just blanket ban doors for the sake of one anomalous, terrifying entity. How would we prevent fires from spreading? How would we keep people out of our homes? What would we politely hold open to be a generally decent member of society? No, doors stay. We're not giving them up. We won't negotiate with SCP-303. So, what's the answer? Well, I think I may just have it.
You handle this on security station, okay? Aye, sir. Sensors are configured.
Well, alright, we might have a few kinks to work out, but yeah, Star Trek doors. Sleek, stylish, non-transparent, automatic, controlled by a fully sentient AI that is constantly aware of any creatures on the other side of the door with malintent. SCP-303 wouldn't know what had hit him or her. Sorry, it's complicated. But the non-complicated answer is Star Trek doors. And finally, after all this time, we'd have the motivation to make them real. All because of one spooky little dude with massive teeth and an unhealthy obsession of hanging out behind pre-24th century doors. Thank you, SCP-303. Really. Thank you. Well, what do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down. Since the fictional days of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, people have been slipping left, right and centre down space-time anomalies and inconveniently placed holes, seemingly for centuries, finding themselves in upside-down, roundabout worlds where big is small and small is gigantic, rabbits wear waistcoats and...
Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we are feeling the chill and sending shivers up your spine as we talk the top 10 scary things found frozen in Siberia. Siberia is a vast region of Russia and the Arctic that is largely uninhabitable. Spooky things out there under the ice. Okay, before we get into this list though, why don't you guys let me know how cold it gets where you live. I'm from the UK, where the coldest it really gets is about -5°C in the south where I'm from. But right now I live in Toronto, where it can get as cold as -30°C or -22°F. Let's have some ice chat in the comment section down below. I love talking about weather, I honestly really do. Also, while you're down there in the comment section, why don't you leave a thumbs up on this video and let me know your thoughts of everything. Just everything, no pressure. Also, before we get started, I want to draw your attention to our new channel, Top 10 Beyond the Screen. We're doing all sorts of content over there. We've got an amazing host called Jocelyn. She's brand new, so go and give her some love. She's talking about Netflix, movies, and more, so head on over and tell her I sent you. Also, do stick around to the end of the video where I'll be reading comments from a previous one. Alright, Siberia, what have you got hiding in that ice? Coming in strong at number 10, we have zombie worms. Wow, worms frozen for over 40,000 years were found in the melting Siberian permafrost. As the Earth warms up, tiny nematodes were discovered, having been officially dead for 42,000 years. Guess what? When the frozen worms were warmed up, they came back to life. Now scientists are studying them to see exactly how they managed to survive such a lengthy freeze. Answers could help us with our own journey to viable medical freezing. Also, this isn't the last you'll hear about the good old permafrost and its Pandora's box of uglies. Stay tuned. Coming in at number 9, I actually think this is really weirdly cute. We have an ancient woolly mammoth. Yeah, I do really find this dead animal carcass cute, and I don't know what that means for me. Found in a Siberian ice tomb, the surprisingly intact and hairy carcass dates back 39,000 years. And the most amazing thing is that it actually still has blood in its veins, which means that maybe, just maybe, one day we could clone it. Can you even imagine? From this discovery, we could bring back woolly mammoths. Fluffy elephants! I'm here for them. Woolly mammoths mostly died out 10,000 years ago, but some were walking the earth as recently as 4,000 years ago. The female mammoth was found in the New Siberian Islands area and has gone on tour in parts of the world so people can see a slice of the history it represents. Anyone else find it cute? Let me know. Coming in at number 8, we have the mystery circles. Whoa, take a look at these circles. Who made them? Was it aliens? I feel like the answer is always probably aliens. Before we talk about the circles and exactly who made them, I want to talk to you about the frozen lake on which they were found. This is Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world and the holder of 22% of the Earth's fresh water. Lake Baikal is 1,642 meters deep, so as you can imagine, there are all kinds of hidden fishy mysteries in there. Half of the year the lake is very frozen, and in 2010, mystery ice circles appeared, sparking alien conspiracies. In the end, it turns out the circles were the work of an artist called Jim Donovan, who said that actually it was the largest work of its kind in the world. While this may not have been the work of aliens, it does seem that the lake has been producing naturally occurring strange circles that have been noted by astronauts on the International Space Station. As of yet, we don't have an answer for those. We're back with the permafrost at number 7. We have good old anthrax. What fresh hell is lurking under the thawing permafrost? Oh, anthrax. Good, great. In 2016, one boy died after contracting anthrax, and 250,000 reindeer had to be culled. This was all when an ancient strain of the deadly substance was unleashed in Siberia. Where did it come from? Everyone's favourite mystery bag, the permafrost. It seems with global warming, ancient viruses that have laid dormant under ice for thousands of years are being unleashed once again, and we have no modern cures. Hooray. While we know modern-day anthrax, ancient strains are quite different. Also, we kind of have an understanding of anthrax, but it's heavily speculated that there are all kinds of hellish pathogens that we haven't met yet. We haven't seen them as modern humans, so being exposed to them could be very dangerous. If we were now suddenly exposed to them, we could get deathly ill from sicknesses that we don't yet have cures to. Coming in at number 6, we have meteor rocks. Can you imagine a fireball from space breaking up and raining hot rocks from the sky? Honestly, that would be crazy. So in 2013, a meteor exploded over the small town of Larissa Vybayakova in Siberia. The impact blew out windows and made for quite the racket. But the people of the town got very excited. They were quick to go out foraging in the snow for the space rocks and were keen to sell them in excess of thousands of American dollars. Now, according to an article in the New York Times, under Russian law, a person can gain legal title to a meteorite, but only if it's reported to the authorities and submitted to a lab for tests. Now, the laboratory will charge 20% of the estimated value of the object for certification. Who knows what little slices of space that these rocks are containing? Could there be signs of alien life? Oh, back once again. Hello, permafrost. What have you got for us this time? Coming in at number 5, we have mercury. Mercury is a deadly substance, and should it enter the food chain, well, it wouldn't be good. It seems that the world's largest reservoir of mercury is currently frozen in Siberia. As our mate the permafrost melts, a motherload of mercury is waiting to be unleashed and pollute the environment. Mercury poisoning can cause brain issues and birth defects. The amount of mercury in the permafrost regions is 10 times higher than mercury reintroduced to the atmosphere from burning coal over the last 30 years, just to give you some perspective. Coming in at number 4, we have the doorway to the underworld. Near the Yana River basin in Siberia, there is a super big crater, and honey is just getting bigger. Why? Well, it seems like the ice around it is melting, making the land erode. Now, this has come as a result of deforestation. The ground is no longer shaded by trees, which means it gets a full beat of the sun in the summer months, meaning accelerating melting. Officially called the Batagayka crater, locals call it the doorway to the underworld, and they avoid it like the plague. As it keeps on growing, maybe that's a good shout. Although that being said, the earth underneath it has been frozen for thousands of years. As the ground thaws, there are probably some really interesting and no doubt scary discoveries to be made. Made in the pit. Made in the pit. Hello there, at number 3, we have an alien. Aliens in Russia. Honestly, that sounds like a really good band name. I'm gonna write that down. It seems in October 2017, a man discovered what appeared to be a dead alien buried in the snow. The extraterrestrial hunter filmed the incident and sold the footage to a Russian TV channel. It received national news coverage, and people were very excited, but understandably quite concerned. Luckily for us, it was uploaded to YouTube, so you can see all the bluish, yellowish looking mutated corpse for yourself. Do you want to look? Don't say I never treat you. I don't like that. Really grim. So it turns out the Russian Interior Ministry waded in and called the video a hoax, sensationally claiming that actually the corpse was made up using mulched up bread and chicken skin. But I have to say, could there be another reason the Kremlin is calling the footage a hoax? Maybe Russia knows about aliens, has aliens, and they don't want us to know about it. Conspiracies with Rebecca. You're welcome. Coming in at number 2, we have the monster. What is this monster all about? I have no idea. This monster was found by miners in the Sakha Republic area of Siberia. It appears to be some kind of small, unidentified, mummified beast with a bird-like stance and fangs. I don't like fangs. As we know, plenty of ancient animals have been found in Siberia.
Caterpillars smoke hookah from a picturesque boudoir. Although, as
hello and welcome back. Do you want to look, monster? What is this monster all about? Siberia. But at the moment, we have no idea what on earth this wee beastie could be. Scientists Siberia, but bird-like stance and fangs. I don't like fangs. As we know, plenty of ancient animals have been found in Siberia, but at the moment, we have no idea what on earth this wee beastie could be. Scientists working with the carcass believe it can be dated back to the Mesozoic era, which would put it anywhere between 66 million and 252 million years old. By the look of this fanged monster, I'm honestly quite glad I wasn't alive back in those days. Yes, I have saved the scariest till number 1. You're welcome. It's 54 severed heads. Brilliant. Okay, warning, this is actually pretty grim, so if you want to look away, do it. I don't blame you. So in March 2018, a bag containing 54 severed frozen heads was found in... Now, if the dismally Hall weren't responding to your thoughts on the top 10 intruders people thought were ghosts, but they actually weren't. Alien Exists said, can you guys please make a Native American urban legends video? I think that's a very good idea. I don't know why we haven't done it, so yes, tentative yes. Deku Utsi Midoriya said, one of my scariest ghost experiences ever was when I was 10 years old. It was 5 in the morning and I decided to go outside to feed my dogs. Then a dark figure ran past me and I knew it wasn't human when I saw it. Why are you feeding your dogs at 5 AM? I think just make them wait till morning and no scary ghosts for you. Sarah Gordon said, oh, raccoons are sweethearts. We had them when I was little. They have little hands. They're so soft like leather gloves. I love them. Good. I feel good about raccoons as well. They're like raccoons. Raccoon Appreciation Society. Started here. Okay, I'm gonna go because I've started babbling about raccoons. But if you like this...
Welcome back, guys. Today we're talking science. Science can do amazing things in life, but sometimes it has to experiment. and experiments can go badly, really. My name is Danny Burke, and this is the top 10 science experiments that went horribly wrong. Starting with number 10 now, we have David Remo. When this Canadian man was born in 1965, he was sent to be circumcised. The doctors experimented with an unconventional technique and ended up removing David's entire penis. Now, doctors told his parents the best solution would be to give him a sex change operation right there and then, raise him as a girl, and never let him know the truth. This ended up tearing his parents apart, and his dad told David the truth when he was 14. David then chose to get a reverse sex operation. It was a success. However, David struggled a lot with the events of his past and ended up committing suicide at just 38 years old. At number 9 now, we have the chimp baby. In the 1930s, a scientist called Winthrop Kellogg thought a chimp could grow up to be like a human if it lived alongside a human baby, his own son. For 9 months, he conducted experiments, and the son dog was inseparable from the chimp called Gua. They ate together and they played together. They noticed that Gua was picking up more and more human tendencies from Doggy than ever before, but the experiment came to an abrupt halt when Doggy, the human baby, began to regress and become more like a chimp. Apparently, he would just sit there howling and wailing and would struggle to pick up even basic language like a normal human baby. The experiment was stopped immediately. Alright, at the break now, we have the monster study. This 1939 experiment was conducted on 22 orphans to see how children responded to positivity and negativity when it comes to speech therapy. Other children were teased and limited their speech inflections. Many of the children received negative feedback went on to suffer serious psychological damage for the rest of their lives. It was so bad that some of them could barely even speak again. The monster study got its name from its shocking experimentation on orphan children just to prove a hypothesis. Alright guys, coming in at number 7 now, we have Tusko. This one was just messed up, if I'm honest. In 1962, when the CIA was absolutely obsessed with finding out the effects of LSD, they experimented on an elephant with the help of the University of Oklahoma. The elephant, called Tusko, weighed 3.5 tons of LSD to make humans hallucinate. The CIA were trying to see if they could make the elephant enter must, which is a naturally occurring state where elephants become violent and uncontrollable. The experiment was a total disaster. Tusko almost immediately collapsed and had a seizure for almost 2 hours before finally dying. And number 6 now, we have the Stanford prison experiment. This psychology experiment conducted by Stanford University involved splitting 24 random students into 2 groups. One group were the prison guards and the others were their prisoners. This was set up for them to study how power and authority works within human groups, but it got really messed up. It was supposed to last 2 weeks, but had to be stopped after just 6 days because the guards began to abuse their power. They would emotionally and physically abuse the prisoners. After just the first day alone, the guards were already attacking them with fire extinguishers. Yeah, some of them suffered serious mental and physical injuries for life. Moving on to number 5 now, we have the yellow fever experiment. Dr. Bird was a scientist who was trying to prove that yellow fever was not contagious and was actually due to the difference between summer and winter. Now, in an effort to prove this, he tried to infect himself with yellow fever by drinking the vomit of victims. He also injected it into his body, and he poured it onto his lungs. Well, it turns out he was right about the whole seasonal thing, but for the wrong reason. It's mosquitoes that are the ones who spread yellow fever, and they hibernate in the winter, so drinking and pouring in the eyes was for nothing. At number 4 spot now, we have testicle radiation. In 1963, researchers offered prisoners in the Washington and Oregon area $25 to participate in reproductive radiation tests. Now, they were told they wanted to see how a normal dose of X-ray level radiation would affect their man's testicles. Instead, they hit them with about 6 times that amount of radiation. The prisoners, as you might expect, developed testicular cancer, became sterile, and many other health problems. The class action lawsuit only gave $2,000 to each of the victims. We're on the number 3 spot now, and we have TGN-1412. This was the name of an experimental drug used to treat leukemia. As with most drugs for humans, it was first tested on animals to see if it was non-fatal. It wasn't. In fact, everything was fine with the animals. They moved on to testing the drug on humans, and just to be safe, they gave them a dose 500 times lower than the level found safe in animals. 6 of the test subjects were hospitalized with massive organ failure. The trial was stopped, and researchers started to work on why this drug was fine in the animals but almost killed 6 humans that it was given to. Moving on to number 2 now, we have the Guatemala syphilis experiment. This experiment involved US-backed Guatemalan doctors infecting soldiers, prisoners and prostitutes in Guatemala with syphilis in order to study it. They wanted to see what the effectiveness of penicillin was on syphilis, except they only used penicillin on about half of the 1,308 people involved in the study. At least 83 people died, and 63 years later, President Barack Obama apologized on behalf of the US to the one now. We have MK Ultra. Number 1 now, we have MK Ultra. This CIA experiment was conducted in the 50s and 60s in an effort to see if LSD and other drugs could mind control people. They tested the drugs on countless unwitting citizens. Some of them weren't even American. Many of them suffered life-altering mental conditions and became very unstable. Those that tried to speak out about what had happened met mysterious deaths, such as suspicious suicides. Not surprisingly, most of the documents involved with these shocking experiments were later destroyed. Well, to be honest with you, that was all very disturbing and scary. I think science... Hello guys, my name is Danny Burke, and we are back again today for the top 10 science experiments that went horribly wrong, part 2. This was a very highly requested video in the comments section, and once again, our sponsor is Brilliant. Brilliant is a great puzzle-solving app that will train your brain to make sure you never end up in, like I've done this tweets, for example. The app provides you with maths, physics and science problems that are not only unique, they're also spoken people have studied psychology at school. You've probably heard of this one. Stanley Milgram was a psychologist who conducted a study in America to see how far people would go when obeying an authority figure. The participants were told they were to give small electric shocks to other participants behind them every time they answered a question incorrectly. In reality, the electric shocks were fake, and the other participants were just actors. Amazingly, even when the fake test subjects screamed out in pain, many of the participants would continue to administer what would have been fatal electric shocks just because the doctor urged them to continue. Many of the people involved in this claim they were traumatized for life, and the study has been ethically criticized in the years since. Moving on to number 9 now, we have the Challenger explosion. On January 28, 1986, the NASA Space Shuttle Challenger launched from Florida. 5 astronauts and 2 payload specialists who were going to conduct research in space. 73 seconds into the flight, the ship